Issues surrounding the appointments for graduates will be solved soon after the election, says the president. A revelation that the King's Assembly Hall in Kurunegala was gazetted as an ancient building. Dayaseri demands that those who destroyed the King's Assembly Hall be punished. A tense situation at a political meeting attended by the Prime Minister in Savanagala. 25 organized criminal gangs in the Western Province. Police operations underway to curb organized crime. Police opened fire at a vehicle that did not heed the orders to stop. 2 people arrested.
A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Primetime News, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's take a look at the stories in detail now. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa attended several public rallies in the Ratnapura district today. The rallies were organized to support SLPP candidates contesting the upcoming election.
A large number attended the public meeting held at the Godakavela Pradeshi Sabha Stadium, where President Rajapaksa responded to a question raised by a graduate. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said plans are being drawn to promote pepper cultivation as an export crop, which in turn will generate more revenue to the country. Meanwhile, President Rajapaksa also looked into the requests made by locals about the construction of a crematorium in the area and the issue about traditional lands adjacent to the Sabaragamo Saman Devalaya. President Rajapaksa also spoke about graduates during a public rally organized at the Ambilipitia public grounds.
Graduates are the cream of our nation. They are the most important part of any sector. But there is no use if graduates fail to work towards developing the country's economy. As the youth of this nation, this should be the objective of any graduate.
Meanwhile, President Rajapaksa was made aware of issues about the Mahaveli property and drug racket in the area during the public rally organized at the Ambilipitia Children's Park.
No suspects have been arrested over the controversial demolition of King Bhuvanekabahu's Assembly Hall in Kurunegala recently. It has been 5 days since this construction, that is of archaeological importance, had been bulldozed to the ground. Against such a backdrop, concerns have been raised on the delay to enforce the law in this situation. Several groups inspected the location today.
The archaeologically important King's Assembly Hall that had been demolished recently dates back to several centuries ago. Its architectural value remains intact in this demolished building and reflects several distinctive features of the Kurunegala era. However, individuals responsible for this matter have not been arrested so far. General Secretary of the Bodu Bala Sena, Venerable Galagodatte Nyanasara Thero, and the Chief Incumbent of the Jatika Namal Uyane, Venerable Vanavasi Rahula Thero, arrived this afternoon.
Sumangar colleague announcement. Hindu Siddhakada vada පැරණිනම් ඒක සංරක්ෂණයට ගන්න දෙයක් කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ රටේ නීති ඒකයි. ඊයේ මේ නගර නැති මේවා කියන කොච්චර ලස්සනද?
British National FH Motor had published a note in 1893 regarding the King's Assembly Hall. There is one thing that we wish to ask. A Tamil youth had been arrested for scribbling on the walls of Sigiriya. The law was enforced against a group of boys who had posed indecently in Pidurangala. However, is the law being enforced against those who bulldozed this King's Assembly Hall? Where is the law in this country? Doesn't the law in the country apply to those in power? Doesn't it apply to the allies of those in power? Therefore, I wish to tell Gotabaya Rajapaksa to show his mettle. Archaeological sites in the east are being damaged. If incidents like this take place in Kurunegala, that is home to a Sinhalese majority, then that's the end of us. Under paragraph 39 of subsection 1, in the first chapter in a gazette published by the Urban Development Authority in 2014, there are 10 protected establishments. The sixth one is the Bhuvaneka Hotel and the old district secretariat. Doesn't the mayor read this? Is he blind? Instead of considering this as a joke, enforce the law against those who committed this stupid act. If the mayor or anyone else had done this, shouldn't they resign to make this a civilized country? The example that they are setting shows that this would be the situation even if the Dalada Maligava is toppled. It would be the same if the Jetavanaya is toppled as well. Therefore, this is a bunch of crooks. We thought that these problems would be solved if a person like Gotabaya came into power. We have heard that the Prime Minister is being told to rectify this situation through the monks. Can this mistake be rectified? Some monks have told us this. Therefore, instead of making false remarks and jokes, the mayor must resign immediately and serve justice over this matter on behalf of the people who have some knowledge regarding our heritage. Isn't the Antiquities Ordinance being implemented? The laws are strong to the extent that a person would be arrested for attempting to construct a toilet pit for a temple located on an archaeological site. Therefore, we wish to tell the Department of Archaeology to take action under the Antiquities Ordinance. Implement the Antiquities Ordinance. We wish to tell the government to enforce the law immediately against these dishonorable people who destroy these beautiful heritage resources. Do not allow this bad precedent to continue in the future. If these thieves, crooks and ignorant people are allowed to destroy heritage resources under the protection of the Rajapaksas, that would be worse. This is not a political problem. It is wrong regardless of whether it is under the UNP or the SLPP government. This must be reconstructed to what it was earlier. After being reconstructed, it must be gazetted as an archaeological monument. This must be done using the money of those involved in this incident. Today, the post of parliamentarian or mayor gives the license for sand mining, destroying artifacts, quarrying, or the setting up of a bar or a brothel. Can the country move forward in this manner? I feel that there is some political influence concerning this forceful activity carried out by the mayor. It is extremely sad to see that no action is being taken over the destruction of this archaeological site, although the Prime Minister is the Minister of Buddha Sasana and Culture. The election is on the 5th. The people will teach all these politicians a lesson at the election. I am requesting the bhikkhus in Kurunegala and the people to come out of this slavery and to view this as a damage caused to a national artifact.
Meanwhile, President of the Helabudu Savia, Venerable Badugala Jeenavansathero, has written to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to investigate the political forces behind the incident and to take immediate action by intervening into the matter.
It has been proven that the mayor of Kurunegala was linked to the incident. What is the punishment that would be meted out against the criminals involved in destroying this massive artifact? Has legal action been taken against the destruction of this archaeological site that has been carried out by the Kurunegala mayor? We can observe that no action has been taken against this. Instead of that, they have appointed a committee. The appointment of this committee dampens the gravity of this incident.
The assembly hall of King Bhuvaneka Bahu II had been demolished to acquire the treasure beneath it and not for any other purpose. We wish to tell Mahinda Rajapaksa that you are from Ruhuna and that you served as the president of this country twice. Has the backbone of anyone in your camp been destroyed, or has it already been destroyed? Why isn't action being taken against this? As I said previously, if not for the Sirusa Media Network, this matter would have been swept under the carpet. Bring this issue to the fore.
Don't they know that this is an archaeological site? Don't they know the punishments that can be imposed for damaging an archaeological site? When politicians are elected to parliament, provincial councils or local authorities, they must be given a lesson on archaeology. The mayor is saying that this does not concern King Bhuvaneka Bahu, but the son of a person who ran a hotel. These are hilarious stories. Under the Antiquities Ordinance, anyone can be arrested without obtaining an order from the court. The mayor is claiming that it was a hotel and a brothel that had been run at this place. Therefore, it seems he was unaware of the operations of the brothel. Why was an action taken against him? Why was that building given to run a hotel? Arrest these suspects immediately and enforce the law against them. Otherwise, it will undermine the Antiquities Ordinance and the country's law.
We wish to ask the President, who appointed a task force to protect archaeological sites in the east, on what task force will protect archaeological sites in other parts of the country. If King Buanakabahu was alive today, he too will have to obtain permission from the Kurunegala mayor to construct the assembly hall. This is a crime. Why are they adopting a silent approach to this matter? Action must be taken immediately against the mayor. Strip him of his title. He is not suitable for this position. The SLPP must bear the entire responsibility for the demolition of this heritage resource.
Was it a learned person who bulldozed the assembly hall of King Buanakabahu? That is what happens when thugs who have only studied up to the 8th grade are appointed to these positions. Even the Arya Chakravarti did not do such a thing. The Portuguese, Dutch, British or the Arya Chakravarti did not demolish this construction, but the Mayor of Kurunegala superseded them and bulldozed it in 2020. This is a serious crime. My heart burns when I see it. It is our heritage that is being destroyed. They do not have any feelings towards our heritage. They must be arrested and thrown into prison. What must not be done is to appoint committees. What can be learned by appointing committees? If a person digs a well in an unauthorized manner, he would be arrested if the police emergency unit is informed about it. They will remand him for 14 days until a report is received. But the law isn't enforced against the mayor. This isn't what we expect by electing Gotabaya Rajapaksa into power. I believe he will make the right decision.
නගරාධිපතිලා නීතියක් නැහැ. ඉතින් මේක නෙමෙයි අපි ගෝඨාභය ජනාධිපතිතුමාව පත් කරලා අපි කටයුතු කරන්නේ. මම හිතනවා එතුමා නිවැරදි තීන්දුව ගනී කියලා.
Police media spokesperson SSP Jalya Senaratne spoke about the investigations that are being carried out into this incident.
There is a complaint that this incident had happened as a result of the activities of the Kurunegala Municipal Council and the RTA. Facts have been presented before the court regarding these two institutions. The Director General of the Archaeological Department has submitted a written complaint to the IGP asking that steps be taken. The IGP has issued an order to the SSP of Kurunegala to carry out a broad investigation and present a report with recommendations within a week.
The Ur province can be considered the province where the country's poorest reside. Poverty is evident wherever you go in the province, which consists of Badulla and the Monaragala districts. In the province, there are people who are unable to get 3 square meals, parents who are unable to provide an education to their children, and those without a proper roof over their heads. Ridimalia, the divisional secretariat area, is not only the poorest in the Badulla district but can be considered as one of the poorest in the whole country. We went in search of a group of people who lost the roof over their heads due to the ever-persisting human-elephant conflict. This is the Madayaya village in the Ridimalia, the divisional secretariat area of the Badulla district. For many years, the people of Madayaya are living amidst threats of wild elephant attacks. A herd of elephants that stormed into the village last night had destroyed 3 houses. Due to some blessing, we slept in another house last night. That is why we were saved. If not, today would have been the funerals of the 4 of us. There are wild elephants all over. We collect firewood for a living. We don't have a steady income. Not only the Madayaya village, but the nearby villages such as the 6th Mile Post village and the Alikandura village constantly come under wild elephant attacks.
We cannot do anything, and it is impossible to cultivate because of the elephants.
It is okay if they just eat what we have cultivated, but people's lives are lost and they damage houses. How are we to live like this? The main livelihood of these people is agriculture, and there are around 500 acres of paddy fields that have been cultivated. The paddy farmers are compelled to protect their crops day and night as the harvesting time is nearing. According to area residents, elephants in the Randenigala reserve stormed the villages. Though the villagers have informed both the Randenigala and Girandurukote wildlife officers about their problem, they are yet to receive a solution.
I had an elephant cracker with me. Thanks to that, we managed to chase away the wild elephant. Thankfully, we were awake. If not, the whole house would have been toppled and we would have died. This particular elephant is very good at killing and damaging houses. Many came asking for our votes, but no one donated anything to cover all these damages.
Those were the problems of the people in the Batula district in the Uva province. Despite being politically active, the people of Monaragala, which is another district in the Uva province, have been hit by several problems ranging from unemployment, suicides and social problems. Although several representatives have been elected to parliament since independence, the problems of these people have not been resolved yet. However, the tussle for votes and power has not reduced, although the election fever has hit the village once again. Against such a backdrop, a tense situation arose during a rally in Savanagala.
This rally had been organised by Sashindra Rajapaksa, who is the Monaragala district leader of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, and Vimal Galagamarachchi, who is the Vellavai electorate organiser of the party. A candidate representing the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna at the parliamentary election also attended the rally. This was how the chief priest of the Buttala Unavatuna Rajamahaviharya had responded to a speech that was being delivered by Jagat Pushpakumara.
Some tried to threaten the SLPP. We stood with Apache and we'll continue to stand with him. When these people were trying to show their tricks with the good governance government, what did we do? We were beaten on behalf of them. We sacrificed our sleep. However, if we allow them to act on this platform again, they will understand the people of Vellassa.
The organisers of the meeting had disconnected the microphone when the monk had been addressing the gathering. Subsequently, security officers had informed the monk to move away from the location. However, the monk had caused another obstruction when Jagat Pushpakumara had attempted to address the audience again. This was the response shown by the people when Jagat Kumara attempted to address the gathering again. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa arrived at the location afterwards.
I wish to respectfully remind you that it was Sashindra Rajapaksa, Galgamarachi and Vijita Berugoda who once climbed on this platform in this district to protect you.
A tense situation arose when Vimal Galgamarachi attempted to address the audience. The supporters of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna had assaulted the son of Vimal Galgamarachi.
Today we have joined hands once again under a new front. Do not fight for votes. There is no need for that. It is sufficient for you to remember the number of the candidate whom you want to vote for. Do not conduct yourself in a manner in which it creates conflict between us. Please put them down as I cannot see the people in the back.
ගැටුම් ඇති වෙන ආකාරයට කටයුතු කරන්න එපා. අර පිටිපස්සේ ඉන්න අය මට පේන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයාලගේ ඉඳ එක පාත් කරගන්න. දැන් පාත් කරගන්න. දැන් මම දැක්කනේ ඕක. නැත්නම් ඕක වැඩි පෙනුනමත් එපා වෙනවා. හොඳද? ඒකින්ද පාඩු වෙන්නේ
Therefore, the people who raise them will be affected the most. The parliamentary elections have arrived. There are no provincial councils. The provincial council elections have been delayed for several years. However, we said that once we come into power, we will conduct the provincial council election even under the old system within a short period.
අපි මේ අවස්ථාවේදී මතක් කරන්න ඕනේ.
2020.
හිටපු හුඟක් අයට පෙරදුනමයි.
Some are afraid to do politics with Mahinda Rajapaksa. When they lose, they jump to another party. When that party loses, they shift parties again. We cannot do politics in such a manner. When the SLFP and the UNP joined forces in 2015, we warned them that the alliance would only destroy the party and the country. But no one listened.
දෙනම ඉවරයි. ඇහුවේ නැහැ. ඒ අයට ඕනේ මේ ආණ්ඩුවක් හදන්න නෙමෙයි. අරයාගේ කකුලෙන් ඇදලා මෙයාගේ කකුලෙන් ඇදලා.
They have no intention of forming a government. They are targeting candidates to defeat. Remember, it's a weak who tries to sabotage the rest to win. We urge everyone to join us to stand against such injustice. Gotabaya Rajapaksa wants a group of clean politicians.
ආම පෙරට එන්න කියලා මං ඉතාම ආදරෙන් ගෞරවයෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා. අපිට ඕනි කරන්නේ දාලා යන්න නැති පිරිසක් ගන්න.
We need a team that will not leave us. A team that will respect our policies and principles. We do not want politicians who will betray the country for titles and privileges. We have come forward to fulfill the hopes and expectations of 6.9 million people who voted for us.
මේ රටට වින කරනුන්ට මේ ආත්මෙම පරිසම් දෙනවා.
මේක මොලේ තියෙන උන්දලට නම් තේරෙනවා. මොලේ නැති උන්දලට ඉතින් ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් ගහලවත් මොලේ දෙන්න බැරි අය තනියම.
Those who have brains will understand this. However, those who don't have brains speak of individual preferential votes day and night. As a result, we might not be able to protect our existing voter base.
කොටාව මාස 3 2 බලයක් කිල්ලනවා. මේක ඒකා ගැනම ඒ ගැනවත් බලන්නේ නැහැ නේ කියලා හිතනවා.
දැන් ඒගොල්ලෝ තමයි පොහොට්ටු හදපු කට්ටිය. පොහොට්ටුකාරයෝ කියලා අපිට බැනපු මිනිස්සු අද පොහොට්ටුව කරපිටින්.
They are the ones who formed the SLPP. Those who scolded the SLPP back then are now trying to use the flower bud to enter parliament. We urge the public to take the right decision in the upcoming election.
ජයග්‍රහණයෙන් පස්සේ මහින්ද මහත්තයා සවුත් නරක වෙනවා මේගොල්ලොන්ට. එද ඉතියා 2015 තෝදේම තමයි උනේ. මම හිතන්නේ පක්ෂයේ අභ්‍යන්තර ගැටුම් ඇති කරන එක මට පේන සැලැස්මක් සහිතව.
In my view, the internal problems within the party have been created according to some plan. This is something done to weaken Gotabaya Rajapaksa as the president, to deprive us from obtaining a 2/3 majority.
ජනාධිපතිතුමා පැහැදිලිවම උපදෙස් ලබා දුන්නා. නියෝගය පිළිපදින්න නැති කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවා නම් ඒක තමයි අවාසනාව. එහා පැත්තට ගිහිලා Tamanට විරුද්ධව වැඩ කරාම ඒ ජනතාවගේ හිත් කලකිරීම.
When you join the other side and work against the party, the people will be disappointed. In my view, they should talk with the people and clarify such matters. Be with the people and stand up for them.
ඉඳලා ඒ ජනතාව එක්ක ඉදිරි කාලෙදී දුකේදී සැපේදී ඒ ජනතාව වෙනුවෙන් පෙනී හිටියා නම් ඔය කාරණා නැති වෙලා සමතේකටපත් වෙලා යයි.
පවුලේ බලය විසින් අද කී දෙනෙක් කපා දාලා තියෙනවද? අද දෙනියාය ආසනෙට යන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ කාංචනට.
How many have been cut off because of family powers? Kanchan and Dallas are not allowed to visit the Deniya electorate. When they don't allow their own party members to visit the area, do you think the others will be given an opportunity?
අරලිය ගහ මන්දිරෙන් දවල්ට කාලා වරායෙන් ජොබ් එකක් කරන් හවස ගෙදර එන්න පුළුවන් කියන. බලාගෙන ඉන්නකෝ.
මම පොරොන්දු වෙනවා එන අවුරුදු 5 තුළ මේ රට සංවර්ධිත රටක් බවට පත් කිරීමට.
We are prepared to do everything possible to develop this country. The UNP claims that the SLPP will not be able to secure a 2/3 majority in the upcoming election.
විමුක්ති පෙරමුණට උණ කලදසාවම තමයි එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයටයි සමගි ජන පෙරමුණටයි වෙන්නේ.
තුනෙන් දෙක ඉල්ලන්නේ වෙන මොකකටවත් නෙවෙයි. ඒක තමයි මේ 19 වෙනි සංශෝධන.
They want a 2/3 majority to amend the 19th Amendment to allow foreign citizens to hold senior state positions. They want to remove such restrictions and make Basil Rajapaksa the Prime Minister.
උදනේ ඊළඟ යටි කූට්ටු වැඩපිළිවෙල තියෙන්නේ මිත්‍රෝ. මොකද එතුමා ඇමරිකන් පුරවැසියෙක් තාම.
ලියලා තියාගන්න අපි ආපහු එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂ ආණ්ඩුවක් හදනවා වැඩි කල් යන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා. මේකේ කොළ හැලෙන්න පුළුවන්. මැති ඇමතු.
We will establish a UNP government soon. The UNP may have lost some of its members. The tree may lose its leaves and branches, but the tree is still strong.
රුපියල් 5ක සමාජිකත්වය අරගෙන ආවෙත් එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයට ගොඩක් අය. වටේම ගිහිල්ලා.
දින 52දී මම අරලියගහ මන්දිරේ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහ
None of them are approached or punished because of their political deals. This is what we have been talking about for so long.
මේකද මොන චෝදනාවක් ඔය එක්කෙනෙක්වත් අරගෙන යන්නේ නැත්තේ ඒ වලට තමයි කියන්නේ දේශපාලන ඩීල් කියලා. අපි මෙච්චර කල් ඕක ගැන තමයි කියගේ හිටියේ.
2020.
When public representatives are openly battling it out with each other for power and votes, there is a village where people are compelled to drink muddy water. This village is situated bordering the Batula district and Ampara.
This is the Madhaputha village in the Gallode Grama Seva division in Padyatalava, Ampara. These villagers are going in line to collect water. There are 40 families in this village and the water in all the wells in the village are now dried up. According to villagers, this is the only well left for the whole village to collect water from. We looked into the reason as to why all the wells in the village have dried up. Over 10 years ago, 7 pump wells were built in the village in order to provide water to those living in the Padyatalava town. This is the water we use to bathe our children. Sometimes these children drink this water by accident. People are not angry over the fact that the village resources are being given to outsiders. However, they request from officials to provide them with the opportunity to enjoy the same facilities. We don't have water to drink. We have to go about 2 kilometers to get water. This is the water we use for drinking. Even small children use this water. 6 pump wells were built near the Gallode village, situated near the Madhaputha village. Over 400 students study at this school. However, according to the villagers, there is no water supply to these schools. According to our correspondent, though the villagers have informed the authorities about their water issue on several occasions, they are yet to receive a solution. We suffer without water. There are no tap lines. They won't give us when we ask, but it is our resources that are given to the town.
During an election time, many come promising us water to build roads. After they get our votes, no one comes here.
The villagers wish that the politicians would have the wisdom to solve the actual problems of the people instead of fighting with each other.
Well, time for a short commercial break. Stay with News First. We will be right back. Here with News First. During a media briefing in Colombo today, Dr. Harsha De Silva claimed government debt increased by ₹1 trillion over a 4-month period.
The general practice is within 75 days after a quarter has ended, the growth rate for that particular quarter is published. However, this is not being done this year. Ideally, these statistics must be published by June. From what we heard, the growth rate during the first quarter of this year is a negative figure. The lockdown was in effect from mid-March. There was no issue for about 2 to 3 months. The only issue was the government's wrong economic policies. The wrong tax policies did not give results as expected. We are reaching the end of July. Why hasn't the Statistics Department published the growth rate for the first quarter as yet? Who are they afraid of? Who is pressurizing the department to change the negative figure to a positive one? Manipulating such important economic indicators will tarnish our country's reputation. A statement issued by the central bank last week reveals that our country's total debt that stood at 13 trillion rupees as at 1st of January this year has increased to 14 trillion rupees by April. The country's debt increased by 5.6 trillion rupees over 5 years during the former administration. However, the country's debt has increased by 1 trillion rupees over 4 months. For the first time, a foreign lending agency has requested for collateral from the Sri Lankan government to lend to the country. The New York Federal Reserve Bank has requested the Sri Lankan government to use the US Treasury bills belonging to Sri Lanka as collateral in return for a lending facility. This has never happened in the past.
අපේට තියන්න කියලා නිව්යෝක් ෆෙඩරල් රිසර්ව් බැංකුවේ එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ අපිට ඩොලර් බිලියනයක ණයක් දෙන්නම් කියලා.
The police say that it has identified 25 organized criminal gangs operating in the Western Province. During a media briefing today, Senior DIG of the Western Province, Deshabandhu Thinnakon, said that 20 groups are currently active.
සංවිධානාත්මක අපරාධකල්ලි 25ක් බස්නාහිර පළාත තුල ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන බව බුද්ධිතොරතුරු මගින් අපි අනාවරණය කරගෙන.
Using intelligence information, we have uncovered that there are 25 organized criminal gangs in the Western Province. 20 groups out of the 25 are currently active and are carrying out various crimes in the Western Province. We have identified 388 people belonging to these 20 groups. Out of the 388, some are in prison. However, we have identified how they use their associates to carry out their activities while in prison. Some others are currently overseas and are manipulating crimes using their associates. Another group includes those who have been released on bail. They are evading the police and finding shelter in various places. The activities of these 388 people are being carried out in 53 police divisions in the Western Province. Therefore, we have granted a certain period for the officers in charge of those police stations to take action against those in prison and overseas. The necessary legal course of action is being adopted to bring back notorious underworld criminals who are overseas. We have given the officials in charge of police stations a month to obtain a warrant from court citing their criminal activities. In addition to the steps that are being taken under the leadership of the Prisons Commissioner General to curb the manipulation of crimes by criminals in prisons, measures have been taken to investigate and arrest those employed in the prisons department who maintain ties with criminal gangs. Out of the 388 people, we have arrested 26. They are being questioned at police stations under detention orders in a bid to suppress their criminal activities.
මේ වෙද්දී ප්‍රශ්න කරමින් ඔවුන්ගේ ක්‍රියාකාරීත්වය සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම අඩපණ කිරීම සඳහා අවශ්‍ය කර ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ආරම්භ වෙනවා.
Meanwhile, SSP Jalesena Ratna said that a new police unit is to be established under the Prevention of Terrorism Temporary Provisions Act.
නියෝජ්‍ය පොලිස්පති අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව යටතේ විශේෂ
A special investigation unit will operate from tomorrow under the DIG of the Criminal Investigation Department. The circular in this regard will be issued tonight. This new unit will be set up to provide expert advice on seizing movable and immovable assets banned under the Prevention of Terrorism Temporary Provisions Act, to seize assets banned under the Money Laundering Act, and to confiscate assets used in drug rackets under the Poisons, Opium and Dangerous Drugs Ordinance. In addition to that, this unit will provide the technical knowledge and expertise to investigate financial transactions being carried out through mobiles or drug rackets, and to investigate money obtained forcefully, including ransom. There will be 7 sub-units set up under this unit. Through this unit, we hope to provide the necessary expertise to assist investigations taking place in any part of the country.
විමර්ශනවලට අදාළව මෙම විශේෂඥ සහාය මෙම එකකයෙන් ලබා දීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
The number of COVID-19 cases in the country rose to 2,715 today. According to the epidemiology unit, 11 people had tested positive for the virus today. Health Ministry figures show that 2,035 people have recovered from the virus, while 669 continue to receive treatment. The National Freedom Front and the Pivithuru Helaurumeya signed an agreement yesterday.
Leader of the National Freedom Front, Minister Vimal Weerwansa, and leader of the Pivithuru Helaurumeya, Udayagaman Pilla, signed the agreement. The pledge signed by the duo includes 5 key points. It says that as parties that are fighting against Wahhabi extremism, they would not be a part of a government that relies on those extremists. The agreement adds that they will continue to protect the war heroes who risked their lives to protect the motherland and its sovereignty. They also pledged to prevent the US expansion of power and other Western forces from entering into the country, despite which form these forces take. The parties pledged that they would do their utmost to create a market for the innovations brought forward by the youth of Sri Lanka, while conserving the strategically important national resources of the country. They pledged that the new government will be used to re-establish a system that revives the uniqueness of Sri Lanka to create a better future of this country, which owns a proud history.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa was elected as president by the citizens with many aspirations. The president will be able to do all this only if the next parliament is made up of members who are committed to fulfilling these promises. We are all obliged to fulfill the requirements of the mandate of 6.9 million. We both stand with people of this country. When we were in the opposition, we made numerous promises to the people of this country. With the appointment of our government, the people can have faith in us. Vimal Weerwansa and I will make sure these promises are fulfilled. This agreement is proof of our promise.
Meanwhile, convening a media briefing, the National People's Power said the country will face a risk if the MCC agreement is signed.
This agreement is a risk to our country's sovereignty, national security and economy. The committee appointed to review the MCC had clearly stated in their report that this agreement is detrimental to the country. Even after that, the present government continues to waste time on this. The government has the right to be straightforward in this matter and clearly state that they will not sign the agreement. The government does not need a 2/3 majority to refuse signing of the MCC. Why do you need a 2/3 majority to refuse an agreement that has not been signed? The review committee says the agreement has not been signed, but a minister of the ruling party said we need a 2/3 majority to withdraw from the government. This is a joke. It is clearly a majority of the ruling party which wants the MCC to be signed. That is why they want a 2/3 majority. The government must inform the US government that they will not sign the MCC. It is only then the public will believe the government. We clearly state the government is preparing to sign the MCC after the upcoming election.
Continuing allegations of agreements that are detrimental to the country and on attempts to hand over lands to foreign nationals. Preparations underway to present the MCC to the people even after the report compiled by the MCC Review Committee pointed out several issues in the agreement. An attempt to abolish Circular 5/2001 and transfer the power to release the other forest lands to the district or the divisional secretary and hand over the lands to multinational companies for agricultural or tourism purposes. An attempt to hand over the East Container Terminal at the Colombo Port to India. The South Terminal at the Colombo Port is already a joint venture with China. The most beneficial portion of the Hambantota Port is under the purview of China. In the midst of all these, a cabinet paper was presented recently regarding development activities on a 9-acre land in Slave Island.
It was not approved. I will let you know if it was approved. The Mahara cabinet papers which were presented were postponed. Although they are postponed and included in the agenda, we don't take it up.
This is the most recent development on foreign agreements and the sale of the country's resources to foreign nationals. What is the duty of the government? Is it to conserve national resources or sell them? Should we fall prey to these traps despite the lesson we learned in the past? For your attention.
Party leaders. Political update.
An intellectual forum organized by the National People's Power was held in Homagama yesterday under the patronage of party leader Andra Kumar Disanayaka.
මහින්ද මහත්තයා පෙරදුනාට ප්‍රකාශයක් තිබුණා හාමුදුරනේ අපි ගාව හිටපු බෝධියත් ඉවර කරා අපි ඒ වැරදි හඳුනගෙන හිටියා ඒක තමයි වැරද්ද කිව්වා.
Do you when Rajapaksa lost in 2015 he claimed sin for their defeat because they protected the wrongdoers. So where are the wrongdoers who were protected? Those part of the team when I today recently Mahindra program on the TV that some individuals to the bond scam are part of their faction. The public has the right to know who benefited from the scam. Recently a candidate from the Badu district said their list of candidates includes horses and donkeys. It is the general public's responsibility to identify the horses and vote for them. It is the public's responsibility to tell people who the donkeys are. During the past 8 months, it was evident that the law was not equal to everyone.
We apologize for the technical difficulty that we experienced. Let's now take a look at some of the views expressed by former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and the leader of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Sajith Premdasa.
A public rally of the United National Party was held in Eppavala yesterday under the patronage of party leader Ranil Wickremesinghe. The rally was organised by UNP candidate Attorney at Law Sanjeeva Senaviratna. It is only our party that has a plan in place to defeat Corona and uplift the economy. We want to win to develop this country. The world at present is facing a huge crisis, that is the COVID-19 pandemic and the resultant economic crisis. Certain countries already have a plan in place to rebound their economy, but we cannot let our people die and suffer just because there is a crisis. The ruling party says that we must protect the local economy and should become a self-sufficient country in terms of food. Our country is already self-sufficient with rice. We only import rice when there is a lower production due to adverse weather conditions, but cultivating more and increasing production for local consumption will only result in a decline in prices. In my view, we should increase production to strengthen exports.
මිල අඩු වෙනවා. මම කියන්නේ නිෂ්පාදනය වැඩි කරන්න ඕනේ අපනයන වෙළඳ පොළට කියලා.
A public rally of the Samik Jana Balawegya was held in Galgamo yesterday under the auspices of party leader Sajith Premadasa. The rally was organised by party candidate Indika Bandaranayake. In the run-up to the presidential election, the SLPP pledged to provide fertilizer free of charge. So did our farmers receive any fertilizer free of charge?
අක්කරයකට හෝ හෙක්ටයාරයකට අවශ්‍ය වන හරි පොහොර ප්‍රමාණය නොමිලේ ලැබුණු අය පොඩ්ඩක් අත් උස්සන්න ලැබුණු අය කවුරුත් නැහැ ලැබුණේ නැති අය පොඩ්ඩක් අත් උස්සන්නකෝ බලන්න ලැබුණේ නැති අය සල්ලි වලටවත් පොහොර ලැබුණේ නැති කට්ටිය අත් උස්සන්නකෝ මුදලටවත් දැන් සනීපද දැන් සැපද
Who received sufficient fertilizer for their cultivation? Who received any fertilizer at all? Are you happy? But remember, the day of happiness is not far away. Vote for the telephone. We will create an era of prosperity and development. In the run-up to the presidential election, we promised to help the public through the Samruddhi and Janasavya. But 6.9 million people didn't want this. They wanted the 3,000 rupee relief package instead. Now tell me, who received the 3,000 rupee package? This government is full of lies.
දැන් මට පොඩ්ඩක් අත් උස්සලා කියන්නකෝ බලන්න කාටද 3000 මල්ල ලැබිලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් 3000 මල්ල ලැබුණේ නැති අය අත් උස්සන්නකෝ බලන්න නැති අය. මිත්‍රවරුනි මේ ආණ්ඩුව ටොම්පච ෆැක්ටරියක්.
An intellectual forum organised by the National People's Power was held in Homagama yesterday under the patronage of party leader Andra Kumara Disanayake.
ඔයගොල්ලන් මතක 2015 දී මහින්ද මහත්තයා පෙරදුනාට පස්සේ කරු ප්‍රකාශයක් තිබුණා අපේ හාමුදුරනේ අපි ගාව හිටපු බොහෝ අයත් වැරදි කරා අපි ඒ වැරදි හංගගෙන හිටියා ඒක තමයි වැරද්ද කිව්වා.
Do you remember when Mahinda Rajapaksa lost in 2015? He claimed the main reason for their defeat was because they protected the wrongdoers in their group. So where are the wrongdoers who were protected? Those part of the team back then are even there today. Recently, Mahinda Nanda Alutgamage, during a program on Sirasa TV, claimed that some individuals linked to the bond scam are part of their faction. The public has the right to know who benefited from the bond scam. Recently, a candidate from the Badula district said their list of candidates includes horses and donkeys, and it is the general public's responsibility to identify the horses and vote for them. It is their party's responsibility to tell the people who the donkeys are. During the past 8 months, it was evident that the law was not equal to everyone. There is one law for the rich and powerful and another for the poor. We urge everyone, make the right decision in the upcoming general election. Remember, the candidates you choose will depend on the party you select. So choose not only good candidates, but also a good list.
එතකොට තමන් අස්පයන්ටම දුන්නත් වැඩක් නැහැ. උරුවොත් වෙනවා. ඇයි මන් අර කතරෙන් മന്ത്രിවරු සංඛ්‍යාව වැඩි වුණා. ඒ නිසා දැන් තෝරන්න වෙන්නේ ලැයිස්තුවක හොඳ මිනිස්සු නෙමෙයි. හොඳ ලැයිස්තුවක්.
ඔව්වර මනිදර
If a person thinks that they must vote for the SLPP, remember you will receive your ashes in a jar if you do that. This is what will happen if you vote for the SLPP. This is an election that requires a great deal of thinking by every person. The Tamil and Muslim minority communities, especially the Muslims, must think properly at this election. If the voters of your area are not in the locality, bring them back to vote. Generally, only 60 or 65% of the people cast their vote. This time, we must ensure a 100% voter turnout.
Party leaders. Political update.
Taking a look at another one of our local stories, police has opened fire at a car hijacked by a group of thieves and has arrested the suspects.
The group of thieves had rented the car in question from a car renting agency in Colombo last afternoon, along with a driver. The group had then taken the car to a quarry in Kohilavela in Kuliapitia and hijacked the vehicle after tying down the driver. After being reported of the incident, the Giriola police had commenced an investigation. The car in question had travelled from Pannala to Giriola, and 2 police officers in a motorbike had followed the car and had tried to stop it. Police said that when the vehicle moved without heeding to police orders to stop, it was shot at by the police. The police had opened fire at the front tire of the vehicle and no suspect was injured. The police thereafter had arrested 2 individuals in the car. By the time the car was taken into custody, the radio set and airbag system of the vehicle were removed from the vehicle.
And that's a look at primetime news for tonight. And we leave you with a rendition of Nagitimu Sri Lanka song for the News First team. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka together with our interpreter this evening, Brian De Cruz.
අඳුරු වලාපට අතරින් හිනැහි නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා
දියසක සංකා බාධක අතරින් නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා
හිතමු ඉදිරියම කාවන්න හැම නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා හෙට ඉදිවන නව ලෝකය හමුවේ නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා Sri Lanka Nagitimu Sri Lanka Kisida no venas minisak guna piripun rata Sri Lanka Meran bhumiye urumaya apage rakagamu Sri Lanka Idiriya gana ekvi apasituwo rakagannata Lanka Nagitimu Sri Lanka Nagitimu Sri Lanka Maatrum kaanada manida pandugal indidum Sri Lanka Naattamuttinam urimai desathai kaapom irukanna
Time for us to hope and pray and heal our motherland.
We must unite and march ahead. Arise, Sri Lankans now. Yelangada Sri Lanka. Rise up, Sri Lanka.
Nagitimu Sri Lanka.